Hello everyone, and welcome to the next legal monologue in our series on a very important decision of Supreme Court in the case of Westinghouse. What makes this decision more important is that this is a larger bench decision of Supreme Court, and all the decisions till now on automobile and railway parts have been of a lower bench. So while the implications of this decision needs to be seen vis-a-vis other headings as well, in this monologue we have primarily focused on automobile and railway parts. Moving forward, we will be covering in this the analysis of the decision, the implications on existing decisions of Supreme Court or advanced rulings, the way forward for taxpayers, and at the end we'll be taking a live Q&A session. So before we start to analyze the decision of the Supreme Court, it's important to study what all provisions of the customs tariff, be it interpretative rules or the chapter note, were considered by the court. Firstly, the court considered Rule 1 of the General Interpretative Rules, which said that for determining the classification of a product, reference of heading, section, and chapter notes is very important. So this rule says that if there is a specific mention or specific rule which these headings or section or chapter notes have provided, that would be followed. In addition to this, they also clarify that the subsequent rules would be followed only if there is no specific bar in a heading or section note. In other terms, section notes or heading notes would override the subsequent rules of the general interpretative rules. In this case, section 17 was relevant because they were dealing with part of railways. So in this case, note 2 specifically provides that your exclusion critical machinery or equipment or goods falling under chapter 85 would be excluded from parts and accessories. In addition to above, there is also a note 3 in this, which said that the parts and accessories would not, this chapter would not cover any goods which are not solely and principally designed for articles of these chapters. So in short, if there is a particular product which is of general use and which is not specifically designed to be used in a motor vehicle, in that case, such part would not be covered as a part and accessory in these chapters. Moving forward for the product in question, the product in question was a relay, and the dispute was between classification in heading 8608, which covers mechanical traffic signaling equipments of all kinds, and 8536, which covered electrical apparatus for switching or protecting, and which specifically covered relays. So 8608 was parts of railways. 8536 was specifically, it had a mention of relay and it covered electrical apparatus. So what observations did Supreme Court make? Firstly, Supreme Court said that GIR rules, Rule 2, Rule 3 would only be referred when the headings and section and chapter notes are not clear. In this particular case, because there were specific chapter headings, section notes, section note 2, section note 3. In that context, they said that those would have an overriding impact on any other GIR rule 2 or 3, which is rightly pointed out by them and has been specifically mentioned in GIR 1 also. Now, this part is most important in the Supreme Court's observation. They said that Note 3 says that part suitable for use of a particular heading would be classified under this section. So they said this section note 3 would override note 2, and if any part is principally for use in that heading, it would get classified under chapter 86, in this particular case 8608 only, and it would not be classified under chapter 85. What is important to note is that they discussed the concept of group classification and said various items of a group would be classified together. In this particular case, the decision was in favor of the taxpayer because he was contending 8608, it attracted a lower rate of excise duty, vis-a-vis 8536, which attracted a higher rate of excise duty. Now, moving forward of our analysis on this decision, This decision has actually unsettled a very settled jurisprudence or very settled view of the taxpayers as well as department, which was there on the principles of classification. In our view, Note 3 should not override Note 2. In fact, these two notes should be read together. If we see the explanatory notes to HSN, which are also been held to be binding by the Supreme Court, they have clearly stated that in order to be classified under parts and accessories of Section 17, both these notes need to be cumulatively satisfied. However, the Supreme Court noted that Note 3, if it is satisfied, exclusion to Note 2 would not be applicable. Let us also understand the implications of this with help of an example. Let us say there were some goods of, let us say, parts of iron and steel, which were not covered or not excluded by Note 2. If they are specifically designed for motor vehicles, they'll be covered under 8708. If they are not specifically designed for motor vehicles, they'll get classified under 7326. And now let us take an example of relays, which are specifically covered under Note 2. So if you recall the previous slide which we saw, it's mentioned that goods of heading 85 would be excluded by Note 2. In this case also, if they are specifically designed for motor vehicles, basis the Westinghouse decision, they'll be classified under 8708. If they are not specifically designed, they will be classified under 8536. But what these examples highlight is that the Note 2 in effect has been made redundant, irrespective of whether the article is covered under Note 2 or not. If they are specifically designed, they'll be covered under 8708. If they are not specifically designed, they'll be covered under their respective headings. So, as we were discussing, Note 2 has been made redundant. Exclusion provided by Note 2 would never be applicable. And this again is against the principle of interpretation of making a particular part of the provision redundant. Next, and again, as we pointed out, the earlier jurisprudence, even up to the level of Supreme Court, as far as that is of a lower bench, that would stand overruled by this larger bench judgment to the extent it's contrary. So now let us discuss what would be the implications on the existing decisions of Supreme Court or the recent advanced ruling in GST which have come. So let us take an example of an ECU. ECU these days, with advancement in technology, is a very critical part which is used in various applications of automobile. There was a ruling of Supreme Court in the case of Cahin Pan Alpha, wherein they said that these goods would be covered under heading 9032. But again, if now you compare the heading 9032, because that stands excluded from Note 2 vis-a-vis the Westinghouse decision, then the department can again contend that it would be covered under 8708 by this larger bench ruling. Which is very important. This ruling is also very important. In the case of Intel Design System, they had an opportunity to examine a very similar good as was discussed in Westinghouse. Even the heading was same, 8536. Unfortunately, this ruling was not presented before the Supreme Court, and this ruling is a two-member judgment. So now with the larger bench judgment of Supreme Court, this ruling might also get overruled depending on the specific product or depending upon what the explanatory notes specifically say vis-a-vis the automobile coverage. There were advanced ruling on disc brake pad, which covered under 8708. These will get strengthened. There were advanced ruling on air springs, which covered under 8708. This would get strengthened. While in our view, this advanced ruling was not correct, but after this decision of Supreme Court, this advanced ruling would have more force and a backing of a Supreme Court judgment. Similarly, for door handle, the advanced ruling held that it would be covered under, should be covered under heading 3926. This again would come into doubt whether after this Supreme Court judgment, this advanced ruling would hold ground or not. Next, for filter also, there was an advanced ruling which said that filter should be classified under heading 8421. This again would come into doubt. Now we should discuss the way forward for this. That what is the way forward for the taxpayers who are dealing with these products and whose classification have come into doubt now. Firstly, in our view, the automobile parts or railway parts manufacturer should undertake a classification exercise to analyze the impact of Supreme Court. There might still be a saving grace for them in the context that if explanatory notes or the heading section notes somewhere specifically state that even though a particular part, if they are used for automobiles, they are still covered under that heading. That would have a overriding effect on this. That would have a specific reference and can be distinguished from this Supreme Court decision. But in that light, every taxpayer dealing in these parts needs to analyze whether their classification would change to 8708 or do they still have a saving grace or a distinction point vis-a-vis the Supreme Court decision. Secondly, in our view, it's very important for industry associations to represent this issue before ministry. And if the ministry acknowledges this issue, they understand the issue, they can request for a specific issue of clarification or a notification which has a broader coverage. Thirdly, for past, specifically with respect to GST, if the taxpayers have charged a lower rate and where the ITC is admissible to the customers, they may take a call to issue debit notes for the past, contest the issue for interest implications, and for future at least protect themselves and change the classification and charge a higher rate. This is because in most of the cases, 8708, vis-a-vis most of the products, 8708 or 8714 attract a higher rate of GST vis-a-vis other specific parts of heading 84, 85, 90, etc. Next, the taxpayers may also seek for a specific entry in the GST rate notification, irrespective of the classification. So in the past also, where there have been classification disputes, the notifications have mentioned any chapter and mentioning a product. So they can request a similar rate notification so that the classification no longer remains an issue for determining the rate. Lastly, the correct classification will be equally relevant for imported goods. And whatever classification exercise needs to be undertaken, that needs to be taken for imported goods also, because BCD rate for 8708 or 8714 is normally higher than the other counterparts. So even for imported goods, the taxpayers need to undertake this classification exercise. So thank you everyone for joining and making this monologue a success.